Let's do this. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Coffee with Cagnetta. And I have the Ed Dikes here from Weston Jewelers, which is located, of course, in Weston, but also at the Hard Rock. And he's got two shops at the Hard Rock. One, his jewelry store, and also a Hublot.
A Hublot boutique as well.
A Hublot boutique. And he's been in business for 25 years. And we're going to talk about it because the jewelry business fascinates me. But first, welcome.
Thank
Ed.
you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate
And we've
here.
run into each other
Yes.
over the years, doing a lot of charity work, being involved in the community. You're out there in the world, get Dan Marino, like you're very visible out there in the community. But let's take it back. We were just talking about 25 years in business. That's a long time. And you started in Plantation, right?
Well, we actually started in Weston.
Weston.
In a small store that was
Right.
1,096 square feet.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty, yeah.
And you, how big is the store now in Weston?
Weston now is 5,000 square feet.
Nice.
Then we have the Hard Rock store, which is a smaller footprint, but
Right.
it looks like a lot bigger store than what it is.
No, it does.
Yeah.
It's
It's
nice
only
store.
2,000 square feet. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we have the Hublot boutique, which is quite small, but it does some great numbers there. So
Right.
we're very fortunate.
So 25 years in business. You came down here. Grew up down here?
Actually, I was born in Argentina, believe it or not. Yeah. So I
Right.
speak Spanish. So that's a good trait.
It's a good trade down here in Florida.
For sure. And I grew up on Long Island, basically.
Okay.
Came down here when I was 18 years old. Went to school in Jacksonville, and then came down and went into the family business. My dad was, we were actually pawnbrokers for many years, believe it
Right.
or not. Yep. And then that's how we started off. And after that, about 15 years later, I decided that I didn't want to be in the family business any longer, and started Weston Jewelers, and basically on very little monies. that was quite the feat. And I built out this store, and little by little, we got all the best of the best brands.
Yeah, it's funny. The jewelry industry fascinates me. We don't represent a lot of jewelry stores when we're selling jewelry stores because it's very asset intensive.
Very.
Right.
Yes.
So you just said you started a jewelry store with very little money, which seems like a really hard thing to do.
I don't think that I could accomplish that today. There's no way.
No.
I was very fortunate because, Weston being the affluent community that it is,
Right.
basically right off the bat, we were just doing exceptionally well. Every year we were just doing better and better. And we're fortunate that our clientele is, well-to-do. And I realized very quickly that I wasn't able to sell, that, half a carat diamond. I had to have 3, 4, 5 carat diamonds to sell because the crowd wanted that, So and I also went to the best of the best brands as well because I realized that everybody wanted luxury brands. So I started with one and just worked my way up from there.
Well, you mentioned Hublot earlier, and I'm not saying that correctly, probably, but
no, it's Hublot. That's
Hublot.
correct. Yeah.
And the luxury brand is Rolex, right?
Yes.
So you were able to.
So it took quite a number of years to get that. So one of our first luxury brands was Cartier that we got actually after 2 years being in business, which was kind of unheard of.
Right.
But they loved the area, and I guess they liked the way I was doing business. So I got that brand way back when. And I did not actually get the Rolex brand until 2015.
Wow.
So basically it took me 15 years to get the Rolex brand.
Wow.
Yeah, that was writing letters to Rolex year after year.
Saying that your customers want.
Yeah, this is, I think, be perfect place, a perfect spot. We do the right business. We do everything the correct way. And finally, I got a phone call one day from a rep, and he says, I want to come and see you and sit down and talk to you. And it was incredible. he came in to see me in January, and by November, I had to I had to actually expand the store. So
Sure.
yeah, and because Rolex wanted their own corner, and that was quite the feat. So I had to expand the store and be open at the same time, and I literally expanded the store I had another 2,500 square feet
Oh,
to it in 10 weeks.
right.
We put it all together, which was, yeah, that was a feat.
S- So landing something like that would seem like it was a game changer for you.
Yeah. So we were one of the last um, stores in the US to actually have the Rolex line.
Right.
Yeah.
But being in the jewelry business, again, very asset intensive, very you got to know what your customers want. You got to
Hmm.
be on top. We were talking about some of the trends, right? We were talking about that, and I think it's fascinating about the Rolex trend. I asked you earlier, you know, has the inventory kind of freed up for Rolex? And so
Um,
tell the story. It's like no,
it's basically not about the inventory freeing up. It's about the amount of, people wanting to have this product, and the demand is so great. So we were just talking before about, basically 1 in 100 people, will get a Rolex watch from an authorized dealer because they only make about 1 million watches a year, and that's basically out there. People know that, but it's crazy. So there's about 100 million people in the globe in the world right now that want a Rolex watch with the money in their pockets, ready to purchase it.
right? So and they only so the about 1% of the demand is being taken up by new Rolex watches.
Exactly.
And then maybe another, I don't know, 10% maybe is taken up by secondary market.
Yeah, yeah. More so
Right.
because let's say if you're willing to spend the extra money,
You can
you
get
can
one.
have whatever you want the next day, and that's basically with everything. If
Right.
you're
Sure.
willing to overpay or spend more than what it is, you know, um, you can have it.
Right. So it's again, we often talk about the past and then we talk about the future. And there's a lot of things going on in the jewelry industry, right? We were talking about diamonds. We're
Yeah.
talking about lab grown diamonds and natural diamonds and uh authorized certified resale Rolex opening up that marketplace.
Right, right. So the CPO
Right.
that's going to be it's a great move actually because um, what we do is we basically take the watch and it's sent to Rolex, and Rolex then certifies it that it's all original.
Mhm.
Complete cleaning and maintenance is done to the watch. Comes back with a brand new box, secondary type of box, and a 2-year warranty as well.
Right.
So that kind of cleans up any type of watch that is not original.
Right.
Has we call those Frankensteins,
Right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we don't want that in the market.
So talk about what's going on out there in the world right now. We talked a little bit about it that, demand has been, you had a good holiday season.
Yeah, yeah, no complaints at all. We were very busy. After the election, everybody was, they're right back to their normal trend of purchasing, and it was a very strong holiday season. Yeah,
And you see 2025 rolling along. Things are pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. I do see uptick. People are still buying those luxury goods, um, and people want to have something and some type of asset that they know that the money's there, and especially during inflationary times, people buy assets.
Right.
So jewelry is a great asset to purchase.
It is a great house. And you were talking about the price of gold is still on its way
Yeah,
up.
yeah. It's so I think that by next week it should be hitting about 3,000. Yeah,
Right.
we're at 2,900 and change right now.
And, you see things like Bitcoin and things like that going up. I mean,
Yeah,
people do try to put their money into assets that they think are going to either appreciate. And we've seen that in the watch business too, as well.
yes,
And even though it's kind of rolled off a little bit, there was
right.
like a pandemic kind of
Oh
bump
yeah,
to it.
that uptick was incredible. It was a surge that I've never seen in my life. and I don't think anybody's ever seen that, and nobody expected it. That's the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But people were bored at home watching TikTok, right? Maybe. I mean,
Yeah, and they just wanted to just buy, because they said, "Oh well, listen, we survived this pandemic, and let's buy something nice,"
right.
So that was the trend.
Right. So, and you've expanded. You've gone to the Hard Rock.
Hmm.
Do you have any other future expansion?
We're working on some things. Yes,
Right.
we can't say anything
Quite
yet.
talk about it.
Yeah, but yes, we are.
And you have some incredible lines that you
Yes, we do.
represent.
The best thing also is that now we have my son and my daughter have joined the team.
Right.
My son, after he graduated from Indiana, he decided that I think I want to be part of the business, and so we sent him to GIA, and he's a graduate gemologist.
Right.
And after the pandemic, I basically took him and threw him into the Hard Rock store
Right.
and said, "All right, go for it, figure it out."
Go do something.
Yeah.
Show me.
And boy, oh boy. At first, he was calling me about 47 times a day. So now he calls me and he's telling me what to do. So I think he's figured it out.
All right. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, we love second generation
Yeah,
businesses, and obviously you came from a family business.
Yes.
So you watched your parents work really hard, or
Right.
in the family business. I mean, it's a grind. I mean,
It is a grind. It is a grind. Now, so finally we have managers in place, assistant managers in place, and we have a great process now that my son has helped to roll out, and our managers also, who have quite a bit of experience as well. So I'm kind of working more on the business instead of in the business.
right.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
E-Myth, if you've ever read the E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And so, and to that end, and we talk a lot about, giving people advice. If you had to go back, or you wanted, talk to young people out there right now, and we're seeing a movement, and it's great that your son and daughter are coming into the family business, because
Mhm.
we've seen a movement where young people want to get into business now.
Yes. Mhm.
So what would your advice to be to some of those young folks out there?
Never give up,
Right.
because and believe in what, set a goal and believe in it. Keep striving and keep moving forward.
Right.
And you still have to do the grind. People say, "Oh, I'll be able to do this and work 40 hours a week." That's impossible. I still believe that's impossible. I've worked always 60, 70-hour weeks, and it's very difficult to work a 40-hour week and just develop an incredible business.
It's funny. We did a podcast on our other podcast, which and we talked about the I think it's a myth. I think the work-life balance is a myth. It's both. I mean, you live your business. I mean,
Right.
you answer the phone 24/7. You're doing things on the weekends for your business. There's events. We're both involved in the community. You're out there. You're doing things, especially on a retail store. You're open 7 days or 6.
The Hard Rock is open 7 days a week. Yeah.
Right.
From basically 10 to 10, and weekends from 11 to 11, so it's long
Right.
hours. But again, we're at a point where we have people there
Right.
in place, but you still have to keep your thumb on the pulse.
Yeah, sure. And it's probably easier to run more locations now. There's things like cameras, and there's things
Oh,
like
yeah. Oh, yeah.
inventory systems, and you know
Yes.
what's coming in and what's going out. I mean,
Yes. So we have a great management team in place that
Right.
controls all that. It's taken a while to get there.
yeah, it's not like the old days where
No. All right. Oh, I think there's a bracelet missing there. No. Oh, here it is. Okay, perfect.
right.
But now we know everything.
You know everything that's
we
going
know
on.
everything that's going on.
Yeah,
we
no.
see it all.
So, what do you see in the future? Is it more international, bringing things internationally? Do tariffs affect you?
Well, of course, tariffs are going to affect everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah. But as far as the jewelry business, we're we're importing. A lot of stuff comes in through Switzerland, and when it does come in, it's already it, dealing with the luxury brands that we do.
Right.
That price is already tacked on already,
Right.
basically. So we get basically a MSRP, a suggested
Right.
retail price. So people will pay what that suggested retail price is.
Right.
So it doesn't affect us. Some things possibly that if I import from sometimes some lightweight stuff, I'll import it from China.
Right.
That might affect us a little bit, but
Right.
it's such a minute part of our business. So it's really not.
So, speaking to the young people again about getting started in business, one of my advices is always get started early. Like,
Yeah.
you're thinking, oh, I'll go into business someday. I'll go into business someday. And like you said, it's tiring. It's a grind. So
Make someday today. That's what I say.
right.
Yeah.
Make someday today. Just get
Just
out
do
there
it.
and do it.
Yeah, because if you don't do it, you'll never know.
Right.
So you just have to say, okay, now is the time. And everybody says, oh, is it a good time now to start that or to do that? It's when a good time is when you think it's a good time.
Right.
Start it today. Right now, it's a good time.
Right. And you said you did it, very little money,
Yeah.
bootstrapping it.
Yeah, and I left the family business with, I thought I was going to get a payout, but it just didn't happen.
Right.
And I figured it out. You just have, take one day at a time.
Right.
And just figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Go out there and figure it out. And so you've figured it out. You've got good management teams in place, and you're still growing the business.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like taking care of the customers. I mean, that's
well, so I just finished a book called Unreasonable Hospitality.
Will Guidara.
Will
It's
Guidara.
such a fantastic book.
Probably the top 3 books I've ever read
Yeah,
in my life.
I agree with you.
And so we have everybody reading that, and the staff doesn't know that, but next week we're going to be announcing that everybody's going to have to read that book, and we're changing our business from being a service business to a hospitality business. So it
is the experience.
Of course, it's all about the experience.
It's all about the experience when you walk through the door and how you're treated.
How you're greeted, how people, would you like a drink? Would you, come here, have a seat, let's talk. What is it that you wanted? Talk to me. Tell me where you're from. Tell me who you are.
Right.
So it's about that today.
But it's about that experience.
Yeah. Who do you do business with? Your friends.
Right.
Or they become your friends.
Right. And getting out there in the community is helpful. I know I wound up with my birthday gift because we were out doing the United Way event in your store.
Uh-huh.
And I looked at a watch, and of course, that was Christmas. I think it was Christmas. Oh, it was my birthday. Anyway, my wife gave me the nice watch that
Beautiful
she got
watch.
from your place.
Right. And that's something that you're going to always remember.
Right. Right. But I remember being there we almost bought it that night, and she was like egging me on. But I think it was your son that was there that night.
Okay.
We were talking about it.
Yeah.
And I knew my big birthday was coming up. So I knew that give my wife something to give me.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So.
Exactly right. Exactly. But that's a great thing about our business. It's all memorable occasions. It's all about, it's celebrating. Our business is all about celebrating.
Right. It's at some point it doesn't become about the money. I mean, it is about the money, of course.
Right.
And and we were talking earlier about young people getting engaged, whether they're getting lab grown diamonds or whether they're getting regular diamonds. But it's about making that investment that they want to make.
Yeah, and we make them feel comfortable.
Right.
We sit them down, we explain everything to them. No hard sale ever, because if you walk into a place and you have, somebody comes in with a hard sale, you're not going to buy from them. And, and we just make sure that they get all the information that they need. And if we treat them right and we do the right thing, they're going to purchase from us.
Forever. It's so funny. You don't hear this a lot in several business. There's some service businesses, but not too many in retail businesses. But in jewelry businesses, people refer to you as my jeweler.
Exactly. Yes. Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that before. It's like my jeweler is Weston.
Yeah. My jeweler, or I got a guy.
I got a guy, right. I got the guy. Well, that's a
Right.
Long Island,
Yeah,
like
that's a Long Island.
New
Yeah, yeah.
Jersey,
Yeah,
like
right.
thing. Like
I
I got
got
a
a guy.
guy. But it's true.
Right.
Like, when you're going to buy something like that, you have to build that trust. And I think, Will Guidara talks a lot about that in Unreasonable Hospitality.
Oh, yeah.
It's about making it a memorable experience over the, sometimes what you would think goes over the top, and just, getting to that person and making it, an emotional time.
Yeah. I mean, an example was during the holidays, somebody called up and says, I need to have just a small little initial, that's a $500 piece.
Right.
But it was so important because they needed it for his daughter. And he couldn't get, he lives up in Parkland. He couldn't get to us. And I said, no problem. I'm going to have my driver that we have here, take it up to you, all wrapped, all done, and you're all set. You won't have to worry about it. He's like, but Ed, it's $500. I mean, it's not like I go, we'll take care of it for you. But these are the things that we do. You have to go overboard.
Yeah, but now that customer is,
Oh,
you're his jeweler.
well, he's been with me
Yeah,
forever.
yeah.
But still, it's just what you do.
Right.
These are the things that you do. Don't worry. If you can't come to us, we'll go to you. We'll do whatever it takes for you to be happy. And our last question always is when a customer we're closing out a sale with a client, we'll just say, is there anything else we can do for you?
Right.
Is there anything else we can do for you?
Because there
We always ask that.
Right. Wow. And so, in kind of wrapping this up, you get involved in the community. One of the other pieces of advice I always tell people is, you need to become the trusted advisor in your business, right?
Right.
You've done that. You talked about before your son got involved in your business, you need to go out there and you need to go to GIA.
Right.
You need to learn the business. You need to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. And then you need to get out in the community.
I have my daughter now doing that too. So she's
Right.
like, I think I'm going to go to GIA this summer. And I said, you absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's what the trust factor, that helps with that trust
Right.
factor.
And what are some of the causes that you're involved in out there? I know it.
Yeah.
Basically everything, but
Yeah. We just did an event. We just did something with Alec Ingold
Right.
recently. Great guy. Unbelievable.
I saw him on the Super Bowl.
I know. He's just such a down to earth, unbelievable individual.
Right.
And we've done, JFS, all the
United
the
Way
churches,
stuff.
all the
Right.
temples around us. We're out there. We're always out there. JA,
Right.
we're always out there. So
Right.
we try as much as possible to be out there and help whoever we can.
It's an incredible story. It's a great 25-year run.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now the next generation's
I'm
coming
so
in.
happy that they're in there.
It's
Yes.
great.
Yeah. My wife is also, she's worked
Yeah,
so hard through all the
course,
years,
Of course.
She was the liaison with marketing and with Kip Hunter,
Right.
who's part of our marketing team. And she's worked really hard. I mean, listen, not every year was like perfect. And we've always had our ups and downs, but it's
Sure.
always been, ups and downs, but always moving upward.
Right. No,
Yeah.
it's hard. We've had a few rough years here at Transworld, and you get through them, and you get through it with great staff and with
Exactly.
family,
Yep.
and your
Yep.
family supporting you, and wife and amazing marketing folks, and
It's all about the people around you.
and it's the community.
Yeah.
Your landlords,
Yeah.
that's a partnership too. I
Yeah.
mean, your
Yeah.
vendors.
Yeah, all my vendors for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
you've had, again, great brands that you're involved with, and you're there to promote them, and they're there to help you.
Yep. Yep.
Succeed. So
Yes.
So listen, to everybody out there, come out to the stores.
Yep. Well, come out to the stores. Actually, Valentine's Day is actually this Friday.
Yeah.
So that's our second best holiday
Right.
that we have. Of course, Christmas and Hanukkah and all the other occasions in the month of December is our number one, but Valentine's is number two.
So if
Yeah.
you want a good deal, go out there in the second and third quarter.
If you want a great piece of jewelry, you want a great watch,
Right.
And if you want to be
Come
treated
out
the right way, you come to
anytime.
us.
Come out anytime. Go
Yes,
see
exactly.
Ed
Have a
and
cup of
his
coffee
wife.
with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
Have a
have,
cup
yep,
of coffee with
have
us.
have some drinks with us. Have a cup of coffee.
Right.
You know?
It's a beautiful store.
Yeah.
You do a great job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for all you do for the community. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming on today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ed.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. That was Coffee with Cagnetta with Ed Dikes from Weston Jewelers. Go out there, Hard Rock, check it out. If you win some big money, get yourself a nice watch or a
There you
nice
go.
piece of jewelry to go home with. Thanks, everybody. See you
Thank you.
next time.